Cards.
Check.
Cookies.
Check.
Shopping.
Check. Oh, and that elf.
Oh, that darn elf. Have we lost our way? Is this really the real reason for the season?
And this is Chick to Chick.
Gotta be honest with you. We went over that checklist, and I do that to myself every holiday season. I think to myself, okay, I got to get the Christmas cards out. Do I have pictures? Do I have that ready to go? Okay. Do I have the decorations? Are they up? Are they ready to go? Okay. My shopping list. Do I have all the gifts ready? Is everything wrapped? And then, bake. And this is what goes through my head that I got to go check.
Gotta be honest. That was me.
It was me. It still is me.
No, I think it's just because it feels like so much pressure, and I'm tired of the pressure. The kids are older. I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. You don't have anybody at home. What are you thinking? I think
because it's tradition. You need some help now. It's tradition. Mm-hmm. It's tradition. And you just get caught up, and it comes up. And I think, oh my gosh, got to get the Christmas decorations, got to get the tree, got to get all these gifts and one. Yeah, Sean's older now, so I don't have to buy as many gifts, but I still think about all of these things. And am I going to get it done in time?
It's very true. Well, we have someone who's going to lend a little more perspective, shall we say?
Perspective in asking that question. Is this really the real reason for this season?
Right.
Is that what this is all about?
I have an answer.
Okay.
But we're going to wait to see what Pastor Chris Bowen says. And you're with New Covenant Fellowship. We're really happy to have you here today. I think it's a perfect time to have this conversation about the real reason for the season. So, Pastor, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's exciting. I have 3 little girls, and so they have been talking about Christmas for months. And so as my wife, Jen, and I have been engaging them, what we've tried to do in our family is to focus on the dynamic that Christmas is about expectation, and it's about longing. And as we get in kind of the church year or the liturgical year, it's about awaiting. What are we waiting for? Which seems so different than the commercialization of it, because we're always in a hurry. We're not waiting for much of anything. Other than maybe for cards to arrive or our dinner to get done. So we're trying to focus our kids in the midst of all the fun on what we're actually waiting for. And that's the hope that we have in Christ and his arrival.
I love that. And I think that it is really important that as we're seeing children get so excited about getting things and maybe even doing things, that you're really providing that sense of, let's take a pause. And let's talk about what it's really, really about. Pastor, do you think that people have drifted away because you mentioned commercialization of everything? Do you think we've drifted a little too far away from that?
I think so. I mean, I think there's lots of room for fun, gingerbread houses and Christmas cards and all the things with Santa. But when all of those things start to crowd out Christ, we're really missing the whole purpose of it. So in our home, what we try to do is to make sure it's not about gifts. It's not about giving. We really focus on being present. So presence and being present. And so we do that. And the idea is that we would really focus on Christ. And different people have different traditions, and I understand that, and that's a lot of fun. Our focus is try to create new traditions for us that are really a little different, maybe countercultural.
So is there a way to achieve a balance? I mean, you don't need to eliminate all of the gift giving, and you don't need to eliminate all of the decorations or eliminate all of the baking and the parties and the this, that, and the other. How do you get to that point where you have balance, where you bring that in, but you don't get consumed by all of it and you forget what this holiday is all about?
For us with the kids, one of the things that we've done ever since they were born was we try to make sure that the kids understand about giving. And we want to make sure that's not just about what we get. We all can kind of get caught up in that. So we have filled the Operation Christmas Child boxes. We'll let the kids go to the store and pick out different gifts. We'll even let them be involved in selecting if they want to have a boy or a girl. So that's something where they understand that it's about giving. Another thing has been about what can we give to one another. So we try to focus our kids on, well, what does your sister want, or what does mommy need? And so that just kind of takes the center off of all their, extensive lists. I remember I used to make Christmas lists out of the old JCPenney's catalogs. Now my kids go on Amazon and just create their own wish list.
I remember that too. I'd gone through those pages. It was like this big by the time I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do that. The other thing is we try to make, we were blessed with wonderful grandparents for our kids, our parents. And so what we try to do with our kids is we try to focus on giving 4 gifts, something you want and something you need, something you wear and something you read. And so that's kind of, they get those 4 things. And then beyond that, we focus on experiences. So we try to do a big family thing so the kids are looking back and have memories.
I'm a big advocate of that.
Am too.
I don't like stuff. I like experiences. Yes. And I always did that with my son. And, he used to go through the Sears catalog and pick out the biggest thing. And I go, what are you doing? And he goes, Sears told me to dream big, Mommy.
Absolutely.
I was going to say a Toys R Us kid was the other one. You didn't want to grow up. You wanted to go through all the Toys R Us. And I love that you, like Flora was saying, you don't have to dismiss all those other things that really make the season fun and exciting, but that you are still teaching your children the true value of what it's about with loving people during this time. Tell me about Christmas Eve. I can tell you that for Christmas Eve, for me, we used to go to church. We haven't done it as much, but it is something that I absolutely loved. And it's really because we're with family. We're doing all these other things, and it just gets to be a lot. Tell me about what Christmas Eve is for you.
Yeah, Christmas Eve is a lot of things for us. Primarily, it's about going to church. As a pastor, we have a Christmas Eve service. We have a candlelight service, and that's something that the kids value and remember. Also, with Christmas Eve in our home, nobody really wants to cook. We've spent so much investing in the day. We know we're going to have a big meal on Christmas Day. So down south, when we lived down there, we would go to Waffle House. We would go after church, and we would go to Waffle House. And one of the things I taught the girls is, these ladies and men are working on the holidays and working on Christmas Eve. And so we want to be a blessing to them. Again, it's not about what we're getting. It's how we're able to give. And so we would, leave a very generous tip to bless those families who are individuals who are working at Waffle House. I'm not sure what we'll do up here. We'll find some other place to go and try to be a blessing to others on Christmas Eve.
I think that's awesome, but I just want to be honest with you. You just killed my mother, my Italian immigrant mother. If she watches this podcast and when she hears that you're going to Waffle House on Christmas Eve, because we do the 7 fishes. That's what the Italian tradition is. Yeah. I know she just fell over. I know that. How important is it you talked about the giving, but giving back and helping others, something that I always tried to do. My son is 23 now and he's out of the house. But when he was little, I always tried to make sure during the holiday season that I got him to volunteer somewhere, whether we were wrapping gifts for less fortunate children or serving a meal at the soup kitchen. I felt like that was so important that he didn't get wrapped up in what he was getting, but more importantly, what he was able to give back. Why is that so important? And what message does that send our children?
No, I think that's very, very important, especially in our culture where we live. We're in a pretty upwardly mobile suburban area where we don't have a lot of needs. At least, we have a lot of wants. And so in our home, we've seen as much as we're trying not to raise entitled kids, our kids have a pretty strong sense of entitlement. So getting them out of their comfort zone and letting them know that the way that we live and the way the Lord's blessed us isn't the way everyone lives gives them a change in perspective. So we have, we really start around Thanksgiving through Christmas and opportunities to serve. We're learning about, since we've moved here, opportunities with Toys for Tots. We're learning about soup kitchens and meal kitchens, places where we can go and serve a meal around Thanksgiving, deliver a turkey, pack a box. So those things just get them out of their comfort zones and let them know that the way that we live and the way the Lord's blessed us isn't the way everyone lives. And so it just gives them a different side of things so they can learn gratitude rather than entitlement.
Those are so important. I think so many people, adults and kids alike, get very lost.
They feel entitled.
They do feel entitled. Lastly, if someone is listening and I haven't been in touch with what the reason is for the season in a while, or maybe they just haven't gone to church in a while, what would you want for them to hear for this year?
I think for this year, there's a lot of political unrest. There's a lot of social issues. We're still sort of have kind of some triggerings around COVID and the aftermath of that. And the idea is that there's hope. And that Christ's coming, as we're waiting and we're longing for that, Christ's coming gives us hope. And so he has come to do what we could not do. And he has stepped into the darkness, and he is shining the light into the darkness so that he could bring redemption. And so that's what we long to live out in our own life, what our hope is, and what we try to remind others through this season. And
I think that is a beautiful message and a beautiful way to end this podcast. Pastor, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. It was a great message, wasn't it?
It really was. Very heartwarming. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, ladies.
Oh, see, that's good feels, right?
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's really good feels. I feel better. And listen, I hope you feel better. I hope you just dial it down a notch.
I know. I do. I do. And you know what? He said so many important things there. Kids today feel entitled.
Yeah.
They have this sense of entitlement, but I also feel like maybe that's a little bit our fault as parents, because
it's a lot of it.
This is their point of reference. This is the way we're raising them, and they don't know any better. And so they think they're entitled to all of these things, but it's always better to give and to focus on what is the real reason for this season.
And they're going to love it in the end. They really will. They'll get it. We thank you for joining us today. We hope that you will head over to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. And until we are back to chirp about another topic.
And we want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season.